Let's start with the performance today.
Yeah, well, I think there were certainly some positives in the performance. I think looking at it on balance, we're obviously quite emotional at the moment, losing the game 3-2 from a winning position, and that's the thing that really hurts, the fact that we were obviously 2-0 up at half-time. But I don't think we really deserved to lose the game today, in my opinion. I didn't think there was much in it, really. I thought the overall performance was quite encouraging. I was pleased with the way we kept going. Obviously, we've conceded some bad goals, and obviously when you're 2-0 up, it's extremely disappointing to lose the game 3-2. I accept that. I don't think they had that many chances, Billericay, in the whole game. I think we restricted them. They probably scored 3 goals off of about 4 or 5 chances, if I'm honest with you, and that's the way it's going for us a little bit at the moment. I was pleased with the way that we reacted. I mean, we've hit the crossbar post twice in the space of about 6 seconds. I mean, I've never seen anything like that in all the time I've been involved in football. And I also don't think that the goal we scored was offside either in the last sort of minute. I thought it was a real clever pass from Cabby, and I thought Brandon timed his run well and finished it. So we'll have to have a look at that. We didn't get much from the officials all day. We never seem to. But I think, we have to look at ourselves and say that, we've lost from a good winning position. But you have seen that in football before. 2-0 is a bit of a tricky scoreline. We certainly didn't want to try and defend it for 45 minutes. The message was to be professional, obviously slow it down when we could, but not to defend to the goal lead, because once the third one goes in terms of 2-1, the momentum then goes with them a little bit, and because we haven't sort of won a game for a while, we're bound to get a little bit edgy. But the second goal that we conceded was an awful goal from us. I mean, it's our throw-in. We threw it inside. Cabby didn't get hold of it. It sort of then breaks, and they switched the play quite well. Joel Dealner then's made a mistake, obviously, and I just said to him, look, if you made your decision to go to the ball, if you're not going to get it, you have to foul the player. Now, I know people might say that's the same as their defender did to Bobson when he was going through. So if Joel's not going to win it, just bring the player down, take a booking, but we didn't. We're a bit too on it, and then Kingy obviously come flying off his line, perhaps trying to rectify the mistake. So the second goal was a real bad one for us, and the third one's obviously a set piece, a corner where their big lads have got in front of us and just nodded it in. But then we come back, how we sort of haven't got anything from the game today, I don't know. So I was proud of the players for the way they kept going. We didn't deserve to lose the game, in my opinion, but this is the way things are going for us at the moment. But you have to congratulate sort of Billericay. Their manager made a change at half-time, and they brought the lad Ross Lafayette on up front and played with 2 strikers, and I think that sort of made a bit of a difference. It wasn't so easy for Joe Ostler to win every single ball like he did first half. I thought Joe was outstanding today. I thought we had some good performance. I thought Josh Ashby was excellent in the middle of the park. Eddie Jones was much more like it today. We had plenty of good performances out there. We shouldn't have lost the game, but what people will say is look at the fact that we were 2-0 up and say, oh, you should never do that. But that does happen in football. I've seen it. We're not happy about it, obviously, but yeah, I thought we were perhaps a little bit unfortunate not to get anything today.
And some really tough situation at the end there where you could, like you say, you could have scored. I mean, there were 2 or 3 situations there where you really should have scored. You wanted to see more of that in the early part of the game, because it sort of almost takes them to be right up against it before they start taking some chances.
Yeah, I thought the first half was quite tight. They had a few set pieces, didn't they, in the first half, which I thought we dealt with quite well in the main. We didn't create loads and loads ourselves earlier in the game, but I think, it's... we're not going to suddenly just sort of turn up off the run of a bad form and start blowing a team like Billericay away in the first 25, 30 minutes of the game. You do have to sort of ease, not ease your way into it, but play your way into the game. And I don't think, we couldn't have been in a better position at half-time, could we? We did the job. Very good. Obviously, it's a mistake from them for the first goal, but Cabby did well to chase it down. And then the second goal I thought was really good. Great pass from Brandon, great timing of the pass, and a great finish from Cabby. So, I mean, the feeling obviously is one of disappointment, big disappointment and big frustration, but I think we've got to take encouragement from certain elements of the performance. Billericay are 4th in the table. They're not at the top, towards the top of the table for no reason. They're a big big team at our level. They've got big resources and they've got a big wage bill for this level. They're able to make substitutions and bring people like Ross Lafayette on, bring Alfie Potter on, take people like that. If you looked at our bench today, we had 4 players that are 19 years of age from our academy, and Ryan Case, who's a new player that we brought in as a non-contract. So that's the difference. We couldn't make those types of substitutions like they can. We are where we are as a club. People are working very, very hard behind the scenes to try and improve our situation as a club. I wanted to bring sort of more players in this week, but we weren't able to. But we should be, I think Oxford United are going to sort of help us out in the next 2 or 3 days, and we should be hopefully bringing 2 or 3 loan lads in from Oxford United, which I think will really help us. We need it. We need some more strength in depth in our squad, and we need some more quality. Obviously, we're missing Reece Fleet today with the bruised ribs, and Zach McEachran and Ben Jefford, and it's difficult to replace those types of players with the same quality. And we're scratching our heads at the moment, sort of thinking, well, how have we gone from a position we've been doing so well to really struggling? Well, in complete and utter simple terms, we've lost sort of 4 or 5 very good key players, and we haven't been able to replace them with the same quality. If you look at the Tranmere game when we went away, when everybody said what a fantastic performance, and that was sort of in the run of our sort of starting off our great form. We had 5 players that started that game that aren't in the team anymore, like Masonda, Adoka, we sold, Sam Nombe went back, McEachran and Jefford are injured, and that's half your team. So we are where we are. We're going to keep fighting, we're going to keep working. I thought there were some encouraging signs today. I thought we finished the game very strongly. I would have been really at the hump with the lads if we would have just wilted in the last 10, but we couldn't have done any more to get a 3rd goal. And I've never seen anything like that. Even their goalkeeper, Alan Julian, said, Jesus, how's that not gone in? So that's just our luck. And like I say, I don't think the line, I'll have to look at it, and I don't want to criticise the officials too much. I don't think that's offside. We never seem to get any decisions. He sent Craig King off as well at the end there. King is insisting he never swore once. He was just trying to ask questions. But, it is what it is.
I was going to ask you about that, because that sort of happened after the whistle. So what do you know about the situation with Craig?
Well, all we know at the moment is that obviously Craig got booked for having a go at the referee, I think just before the 3rd goal. And then he said to me at the end, he was just asking why he booked him. He said he didn't swear at him, he was asking a question, the referees told him to go away or something, and then I think Craig said something again, and the ref just decided to sort of bring the red card out. So Kingy is, he wears his heart on his sleeve, he's an emotional person. He wants to do so well for the club, but sometimes that enthusiasm and that emotion does at times spill over with him, and we have been sort of talking to him about trying not to get involved, but I think Craig does take it to heart when things don't. But it's a bit silly to be getting sent off after the final whistle, in our position, so we'll have to look at that. Craig sort of adamant he was respectful and didn't swear, but I don't know, what can we do about it? I mean, as I said, we didn't get anything from the ref all day, did we, really?
Just looking ahead, will that impact Chippenham actually on Saturday? Will he play
game? We can't appeal to yellows, unfortunately. I mean, all we can do is sort of put our report in and go with what Craig, but there's nothing we can really do. I mean, the referees obviously made a decision to send Craig off, 2 yellow cards. We can't appeal that, and that is very disappointing, to be honest, and we'll have to look at that. Stephen Caro is obviously our reserve goalkeeper, and he did quite well at Truro last week, so we'll have to look at that, but we certainly could have done without that, Yes, of course.
And so looking ahead to Chippenham, another team that are sort of in that mid-table area alongside yourselves, are you going to have any more new players in for that game, do you think? And what's the situation with Zach?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Zach McEachran for a while. I mean, we have to. I think he may sort of need to go for a second scan and perhaps sort of sounds to me like it's sort of a cartilage. It may be like a slightly small tear because of the way he's all right 1 minute and feels it the next and certain moves. So I don't think we're going to be seeing Zach McEachran for a while. Ben Jefford is sort of making progress, but a bit slow progress, to be honest. And Reece Fleet, we're hoping that he might be okay. It's just sort of, I think it's the muscles in between the ribs that he's struggling with, but I don't think it's going to be too long for Reece. I thought Selfie and Josh Ashby worked hard in the middle of the park today and did quite well. And yeah, and in terms of Chippenham next week, we've got to basically keep sticking together, keep going. We'll come in and work on Tuesday again at training. You know, all we can do is do our best. We are doing our best. You know, whether it's not good enough is obviously for other people to decide. We're very critical of ourselves. No one sort of looks at themselves more than me and what I can be trying to do differently. It's a very frustrating period for us at the moment, but you know, as far as I'm concerned, I just want to try and get a victory on the board, try and get above that 40 points, which usually keeps you safe, and then we can perhaps sort of start maybe playing with a bit more smiles on our faces and enjoying it. It's, you know, I'm getting very sort of wound up on the touchline. I'm not, you know, I usually try to keep me cool, but it's hard when things are going against you all of the time. But all we can do is keep going, which we will do, encourage the players. There were some positive signs today. I say it again, I didn't think we deserved to lose. But obviously what makes it even worse is the fact that we were 2-0 up and we've lost. So people will look at that and go, how did that happen? But you have seen it in football, 2-0. You've seen teams come back before. And credit to Billericay, the manager changed it. Well done to him. Wish them all the best for the rest of the season. And we'll just keep going and keep fighting.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, thanks very much.